I would bomb the shit out of them. I would just bomb those suckers. And that's right. I'd blow up the pipes. I'd blow up the I'd blow up every single inch. There would be nothing left. And you know what? You'll get Exxon to come in there in 2 months. You ever see these guys, how good they are, the great oil companies? They'll rebuild that sucker brand new. It'll be beautiful. And I'd ring it, and I'd take the oil. And I said, I'll take the oil.
I'm really glad you're here. If you weren't, we'd be talking to the wind. I'm also kind of humbled that our small number, and we told you it would be small. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. One of the real disturbing things is the National Nuclear Security Administration, the folks who run this place, they recently bragged that the newest gravity weapon that's almost like a guided weapon, it's a nuclear bomb, very flexible, easy to use, 25 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb. The B6113 is being finished ahead of schedule. And they're very proud of that because of all the tension in the world now. And this is what they say. They want to give the president more nuclear options. More nuclear options. Well, who are we going to be at war with? Norway, because they didn't give him the Nobel Peace Prize? With Venezuela? Bombing their fishing boats in the Gulf of Mexico or America. Russia? Iran? I don't need political because I don't think anybody should have this power, but I'm nervous about giving President Trump. The people are working hard to offer President Trump more options right now, at this moment, and they're hurrying to do it. The president made a proclamation back in April. Mr. Trump announced that he was going to make Columbus Day great again, and he came through with that on the 9th of this month, just a few days ago, a proclamation reminding people this is Columbus Day, damn it, that's my word there, but that's what he means. Talking about Columbus landing here in 1492, exploring their coasts and engaging with their people. The first natives he engaged tried to get them to give their gold. He had their hands cut off. Christopher Columbus engaging with the people, but he did set a trend for the next hundreds of years. Now it's important to remember our history, because the only way we're going to have a future is to remember our history. I think the only reason why this is able to exist and people still pay taxes for it and people still take jobs here is because we've forgotten Hiroshima, forgotten the Cuban Missile Crisis, forgotten the times when the world was on the verge of destruction. And we're moving toward that again. History is under attack. You've probably read about the Smithsonian Institution, the Museum of African American History. History is being rewritten there because the president doesn't want people to think of slavery as being bad. We've got to teach our children to be proud of America. We're cleaning up Columbus. We're cleaning up racism, cleaning up Jim Crow, even slavery. So, therefore, I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, by virtue of the authority invested into me by the Constitution, etc., proclaim October 13th, 1925 as Columbus Day, and I call upon the people of the United States to observe this day with appropriate ceremonies and activities. Appropriate ceremonies and activities, that's what we're doing here. That's why we're here. We're here on the invitation of President Trump to mark this day with appropriate ceremonies and commemorations. And that's what we've been doing all weekend. And we come here. I just have to say, I remember the first time I was here. You're all too young to remember these days. 1987. Thousands of people here. Hundreds of people arrested. I don't remember the numbers, but we had both those corrals packed tight. And it took hours to process people, even for the simple, getting ID and letting people go. So we were held, and we had a great time singing and dancing in those corrals. Today there's 6 of us. We're outnumbered by you, thank you. But I think I'm always coming back to a quote I read some years ago by Pete Seeger, the folk singer, saying, if the world survives these next years, it will be because of tens of millions of small things that people do.
Now, boys, you come to the hardest time. The boss will try to bust your picket line. He'll call out the police, the National Guard. They'll tell you it's a crime to have a union card. They'll raid your meeting. They'll hit you on the head. They'll call every one of you a damn red unpatriotic. Japanese spies sabotaging national defense. But out at Ford's, here's what they found, and out at Vultee, here's what they found, and out at Alice Chalmers, here's what they found, and down at Bethlehem, here's what they found, that if you don't let red baiting break you up, and if you don't let stool pigeons break you up, and if you don't let vigilantes break you up, and if you don't let race hatred break you up, you'll win. What I mean, take it easy, but take it.